I've been police officer for 13 years. In that time, I have seen things most people only imagine in nightmares: car wrecks, murders, and the aftermath of human cruelty. But nothing compares to what happened on Highway 17. It was November 18, cold wind, empty road, the fog so thick it looked like smoke crawling across the asphalt. I was on the night patrol around 2:40 am when the radio crackled. Unit 23. We received a 911 call from Highway 17. Caller reported a woman standing in the middle of the road asking for help. I grabbed the radio. Unit 23 responding. Highway 17 had a reputation. Locals avoided it after midnight. They said people had seen strange things there for decades. Personally, I didn't believe ghost stories until that night. As I drove down the road, my headlights barely pierced the fog. The forest on both sides looked like a black wall. Then I saw her, a woman standing perfectly still in the middle of the road. White dress, barefoot, head lowered. I slowed the cruiser. Ma'am, are you okay? No response. I stepped out of the car. The air was freezing. Ma'am. She slowly lifted her head. Her face was pale, eyes wide, and she whispered one sentence: "Don't stop here." Before I could ask anything, she ran into the woods, just disappeared. I searched the area with my flashlight. Nothing. No footprints, no sound, just fog. Then dispatch spoke again. Unit 23. The call came from a cell phone registered to a missing person from 1997. I felt a chill. What was the caller's name? There was a pause. Then dispatch said, Emily Carter. The name hit me instantly. Emily Carter died in a car crash on Highway 17 in 1997. My stomach dropped. Dispatch repeat that. Caller was Emily Carter. The phone was recovered at the crash site. Crash site? Where? Exactly where you are currently standing. My heart started pounding. Then I heard something behind me. A car engine. Fast. Too fast. I turned. Headlights exploded through the fog. The truck was racing down the highway straight toward me. I jumped aside as it roared past. The driver never even slowed down. If I had stayed where I was, I could be dead. I stood there shaking. Then I remembered what the woman said: "Don't stop here." The next morning, we checked the traffic cameras. The truck driver admitted he nearly hit a police officer. But what bothered me wasn't the truck, it was the camera footage. The video showed my patrol car, the truck, and me jumping away. But there was no woman standing in the road. No one except me. Dispatch later confirmed something even stranger. The 911 call lasted 11 seconds. All it contained was a whisper: "Please warn him. I still patrol highways, but I never ignore calls from that road anymore because someone out there is still trying to save lives." I work homicide. Interrogations are part of the job. Suspects lie, then cry, then scream. But what happened in interrogation room B still keeps me awake at night. It was 2016 when we arrested a man named Daniel Hargrove. He was suspected of murdering three people. When we brought him in, something felt wrong. He wasn't scared. He wasn't angry. He looked calm, too calm. I sat across from him. "Daniel, we found your fingerprints at the scene." He smiled slightly. "You are asking the wrong questions, officer." I leaned forward. "Then help me ask the right ones." He stared at the mirror behind me, the observation window. Then he whispered, "They are standing behind you." I didn't turn around. Classic suspect trick. "You killed those people." He shook his head slowly. "No." "Then who did?" His eyes locked onto mine. They did. The lights flickered. Suddenly, the temperature in the room dropped. I rubbed my arms. Enough games. Then Daniel started laughing. Quiet at first, then louder. Officer, you really can't see them. I slammed my hand on the table. See who? He leaned forward. The three people who died. My blood went cold. How do you know? How many? He smiled. They are right behind you. I turned around. Nothing. Just the mirror. I looked back at him. Nice try. But something felt wrong. The lights flickered again. Then Daniel whispered something that made my heart stop. Officer, the one on your left has a knife in his chest. One of the victims had died from a stabbing. That detail was never released. I stood up slowly. How do you know that? Daniel's smile vanished. They are getting closer. Then the lights went off. Total darkness. I heard something move behind me. A chair scraping, a breath right next to my ear. Then the lights came back. Daniel was staring at the empty chair beside me. They are angry now. I opened the door and called for backup. When other officers arrived, Daniel was still sitting calmly, but he said something before we took him away. We should check the camera footage. So we did, and that's when everything changed. The interrogation camera showed the entire conversation. Me, Daniel, the table. But halfway through the video, something appeared. Three faint shapes behind my chair, standing, watching. They stayed there. They stayed there for exactly 4 minutes, then disappeared. Daniel eventually confessed, but his explanation was disturbing. I didn't kill them alone, he said. They helped. Who helped? He smiled again. The ones you saw. Daniel died in prison 2 years later, but no officer ever uses interrogation room D anymore because sometimes late at night the camera still detects three figures sitting in the chairs, waiting. This case is officially unsolved, and honestly, I hope it stays that way. It started with a simple call. 911 received a distress signal from an abandoned house outside town. The operator heard a child whispering, "Please help me." Then the line went dead. The house had been abandoned for 12 years. No electricity, no phone line, but protocol required us to check. So I went with Officer Ramirez. The house sat alone on hill, windows broken, front door hanging open. Ramirez looked at me. You hear about you hear about this you hear about this place? I shook my head. Family died here. Murders. Great. We stepped inside. The air smelled like dust and rot. Police. Anyone here? No response. But then we heard something upstairs. A child's voice, crying. Ramesh whispered, "You heard that too, right?" Yeah. We climbed the stairs slowly. The crying got louder, coming from the last bedroom. The door was closed. I pushed it open. The room was empty, but the crying stopped instantly. The radio crackled. Dispatch. Unit 12. Why did you call 911? I froze. We didn't. You called from the resident's phone. There's no phone here. Silence. Then dispatch whispered, "Officer, the call came from inside that bedroom." My skin crawled. Ramirez pointed to the closet. The door was slowly opening by itself. Inside the closet was an old rotary phone covered in dust, disconnected from the wall, and it started ringing. Ramirez looked at me. "Answer it." I picked up the receiver. The child whispered, "Why didn't you come sooner?" The line went dead. We checked the property records later. The family that lived there had a daughter, 8 years old. She disappeared the night her parents died. Her body was never found. But the most disturbing part came later. When dispatch reviewed the 911 recording, the child wasn't the only voice. Behind the whisper, two adults were screaming, and a man was laughing. We searched the house again the next day, and this time we found something. Small skeleton hidden beneath the bedroom floorboards. The missing girl, But that doesn't explain the call because the recording ended with something else. A voice we never heard during the call. A deep whisper saying, "They are still in the house." The case was closed after the remains were identified. The house was demolished, but sometimes dispatch still receives the calls from that location. Static. A child whispering, "Are you coming this time?" And every officer in the department refuses to respond.